Welcome to Data Octagon live from Data Innovation Summit. In the upcoming 20 minutes, we will be conducting a tech news, this time with Reltio. Reltio is an enterprise cloud data management solution that offers enterprise cloud master data management platform for customers and enterprises who are looking into enhancing their customer experience. It's a cloud native company with a unique approach to the market. And today with us, we have Chris Lowe, Senior Solution Architect at Reltio. We will be looking at a demo of the product and as well discuss how customers are already using this platform, what are the benefits and what are the benefits of acquiring such a technology into your enterprise technological stack. So Chris, welcome to Data Octagon. It is unfortunate that we are meeting under these circumstances, but nevertheless, I'm super excited to have this 20-minute chat with you. So welcome.
Thank you very much. We're also super excited to be here. Great to be here with everybody.
Perfect. Can we start with a little bit of an overview over the company, the platform? We were discussing about the advantages of being cloud native and about the unique philosophy that you have when you started the company.
Yeah, absolutely. We are Reltio Software, founded in Silicon Valley. And our philosophy is very much around enabling our customers to better engage with their customers. So the most urgent priority that most organizations are facing is customer experience. So we've got a wide range of great customers who are doing some really interesting things using our platform. You mentioned about us being cloud native. We are 100% software as a service. That's led Forrester to recognize us as leading the charge for the third generation of master data management. We enable organizations to bring together all of their data and master that. And in particular, we drive customer experience master data management. So that enables companies, for example, like Hewlett-Packard, to track every single printer that's been sold, whether that be to a consumer, to a business. That's somewhere in the region of 1.5 billion consolidated profiles. And only our cloud native platform enable them to A, load that amount of volume, and then B, to be agile enough to respond to new marketing campaigns, to make sure they understand their customers so they can engage with them better, whether that be to generate revenue, whether that be to ensure that customer service is great. So we're enabling organizations to drive an awesome customer experience for their customers.
Perfect. And I believe that in the upcoming decade, organizations will be competing actually on the customer experience, right? So how do you make this happen? Can we go through the platform itself?
Absolutely. Just to quickly talk to one other logo off this, so Hyperion X, for example, an insurance broker, traditionally quite a slow-moving industry, and one that's been quite slow to embrace the customer experience. Hyperion seek to radically transform the way that they engage with their customers, so that will be multiple policies, selling with them directly or through brokers, a multi-channel engagement. It's very much about enabling customers to feel as though the organizations they deal with have almost got a telepathic experience. So Gartner, for example, have recognized that we're maintaining a lead in this field, and they anticipate us to maintain that lead for several years yet. Probably the best thing to do, though, is simply to show you a customer profile and show you what Reltio enables organizations to do. So let's move over to the software. So as a customer service operative, I might come in on a screen like this and see immediately a distribution of my customers. We can see a map here, and I can see geographically where my customers are based. What's interesting is to notice over here at the top left, although I'm focusing on customers, Reltio allows organizations to master all of their types of data. So as well as customers, you'll see that we've also got, for example, employees, we've got locations, we've got products, stores. We can help you master any type of data, and more importantly, show you how that data is connected to other data. And this is all part of powering that fantastic customer experience. We've got several design philosophies that are very different to other software vendors. One of those is that as we pull data in, we immediately index it and make it available, make it very easy to find that data. So for example, over here we have a search pane, and if I wanted to bring up the profile of a particular customer I'm interested in, well, I know that her first name is Chris or Christine. So as I search, you'll see that already Reltio is prompting me. So not just for names with that string in, but also some locations and even some employees. So I know that my customer, I'm not sure about the rest of her name, but I believe she lives in Chicago, and we started to narrow it down. And I think she's got an interest in hi-fi and technology. So let's just search on Beats headphones, and there we go, straight into a customer profile. Remember, I'm a customer services operative, and I'm now looking at information about my customer. So some of this is, I guess, information that you would expect to see: name, an address, and a photograph. Notice also immediately down here, we've got privacy information. So when large organizations pull together data about their customers, it's a huge challenge to remain compliant, to ensure privacy, to ensure that these consents are followed. Reltio acts as a layer on top of those different sources, and we hold that information centrally. So we can see that Christine has opted in for all of these channels. As we scroll down the screen, we can see other information. She's got a couple of different addresses. We've got some social media information. That's fairly typical. What's kind of interesting is over here towards the right of the screen, I can see the list of products that she's bought. But I can also start to see some metrics about that. So I can see information on the different categories of products she chooses to buy. And I can even see information about the different ways that she chooses to interact with my organization. And that's really interesting. That's part of Reltio tracking not just products and sales and customer data, but also real-time interaction information. I can see that she uses the mobile app a lot and doesn't really use the call center very much at all. But I've actually got more information inside this as well. I can see that Christine has opted to refer various friends and families. So now I'm starting to build up a relationship of who Christine is connected to. And that helps me understand my customer better. Down here, I can see the names of my employees, my sales advisors who've worked with Christine to make sure she gets great service. Down towards the bottom, I can see stores that she's been to. And then this pane here, recommended actions, this is really interesting. This then is where Reltio has taken all of that information and started to use machine learning to suggest or recommend the next actions. The first of those is that following an email campaign, we've realized that she's got a great interest in running shoes, in particular Nike shoes, and there's a likelihood that she'd be interested in a discount offer on that. So we've decided to send that offer out. Also, we can see that she's beneath that, she's visited a store. So now we're using Reltio to join together her web traffic, her use of the mobile app with her visits to physical stores. And we can see that she dropped by a store. So we're just going to send up a courtesy email to see if there's anything that we can help with. So there's a lot of information here. Some of it is fairly typical address type information. Some of it is more interesting, which is the products and the people she's connected to. This is a finished screen as a customer services operative. Now let's step back and see how Reltio built this screen using some of those quite unique design philosophies under the hood. So let's step back and see how we join all of that data together. Reltio sits on top of all of your enterprise systems, pulls the data in, and automatically builds a graph just like this. And there's a lot of information here. There in the very center is Christine, and I can see around her different pieces of data. I'm just going to quickly take some of these off just because that makes the screen slightly easier to read. So I can see, for example, she's connected to Andy DeFresney, and he's an advisor. So he's somebody who's established a great relationship with her, making sure she's getting a good customer experience. I can see also, for example, that she's connected to Michael Brown. That's her husband. So that's some information she's chosen to share with us. I can see that she's been connected, for example, to a couple of next actions. And as I start to bring in other pieces of data, I could see the different stores that she works with. I can see the products that she's bought. And we build this automatically. So notice that we're showing relationships between a customer and between some products and between some employees and between some predictions and possibly relationships back amongst those as well. So this gets built automatically as we bring data in. But where does the data that supports this come from? Let's take a step back again. So one of the key differences is that Reltio in real time will hoover up all of the interaction information between our organization and Christine. So that might be everything from an outbound email campaign through to she's chosen to share her social media details with us. Down here, I can see that she's made a purchase. So I can see there's a particular Ralph Lauren product she's bought at a physical store. And I can see also she's raised a support inquiry about a different category of product. So my customer service team will be working with that. So we pull together here every touch point between our organization, between my sales organization and Christine. And that helps me ensure that I serve her better, that customer experience is truly great. But how did the data get here into this set of interactions? Well, let's step back again and see how we join all of those sources together. So this is a fantastic screen. Inside this single screen, I get to see the whole of the data lineage, all of those different data feeds being brought together in real time to help me build up a profile of Christine. There's a lot of information on this one screen, so let's break this down. At one end of the timeline, I guess, top right here, we have a color-coded key of how different data sources have been brought together. And that color coding is important because I'll follow those pieces through the process. Over here on the left, I've got Christine's profile. So it's got this slightly light blue background to it, and I can see some of that information from the profile screen, names, address, etc., etc. So let's see how those different data sources are combined. So for example, using the color coding, I can see that we've got a point of sale from the physical store. So let's lock that, and that's in pink. And I can see this pink data thread flows all the way through. And I can see that from that point of sale, we captured Christine's name. I can see also that we captured various other pieces of data highlighted in pink. At the same time, I can see that she also chose to share some LinkedIn information with us. Again, that's something she's given permission to. I can see also that's supplied, for example, her name and some other pieces of contact information, again, being totally compliant with her privacy preferences. So the color coding shows me how the different data sources feed through. But how then do we determine which piece of information is going to be used to build her profile? This section here in the middle is what we call survivorship rules. So different pieces of data come through and we evaluate to see which piece of data is going to get stored. So let's use the example of Christine's first name. So here I can see that I've got 6 different data sources, all with different colors. I can see 4 of those data sources supplied a name of Christine. I can see that one of those supplied a name of Chris. And I can see that one of those actually had the first name completely missing. It was unknown. So based upon these 6 different values, which one will we bring across? Well, my organization has decided that's going to be a recency rule. In other words, the most recent value to come through is the piece that will be saved on her profile. And it's very, very easy to configure these. You can see examples of other types of rules here. So I might choose to use the oldest or the minimum. Down there at the bottom, I could use custom class if none of these built-in rules work. It's very, very easy. I don't need to cut code at all as a data steward to build up these pieces to then populate the screens that my customer services people will see later. To show you some examples of some other rules, I can see that for the middle name, we've used frequency, so the most frequent value. And I can see that for addresses, we've chosen to aggregate. In other words, we'll just keep adding extra details onto the list to build up a fuller view. All of this is possible without writing any code. Final example of a rule is a source system. So for a full name, we've chosen to base that on a source system. And here I can simply drag and drop to give different source systems a different priority. So I can see, for example, my call center system is quite high up the priority chain.
Welcome to Data Octagon.
Of that survivorship rule. That's a very different philosophy. Other systems typically will only let the winner through and will discard everything else. Why is this important? Well, if I work in compliance, this in a single screen enables me to explain clearly to a regulator, for example, how a set of values were arrived at. If I'm going to supply the data to a machine learning algorithm, this allows me to justify or to explain the values that flow through. If, for example, we later realize that there's been a mistake made and it's actually two different Christine Browns, because I've got all these values, I can split that out. I can perform an operation known as an unmerge, which is to split these back out. And again, traditional first and second generation MDM don't allow you to do that. Final thing to show you is that as everything goes through our system, we track all activity. So I can see here some edits. I can even get down to see individuals viewing profiles. We track this automatically, again, just to make sure that compliance and security are entirely happy. That's a real quick view of a consumer. If I may, I'll just take 2 minutes to show you a B2B customer as well, because there's some slight differences that I think might be interesting. So let's move over. Now I'm a customer service representative for a different company working with B2B customers. This is Caterpillar. Much the same layout to the screen. It is completely configurable. Allow me to show you two other things. The first is this Get Company Details button. So by clicking this, that enables me to enrich my customer profile. That actually is a call out to Dun & Bradstreet. So that allows me to retrieve other information. For example, I can see over here on the left, I've got the DUNS number. I've got information such as that customer's revenue, even some of the organization type and classification codes. That's been supplied by Dun & Bradstreet. In fact, I can even see here I've retrieved the Dun & Bradstreet hierarchy for my customer. Notice underneath that, though, there's a different hierarchy again. So my organization, as it works with Caterpillar, I have different teams. So whereas up here I can see that this particular customer is, if you will, in the middle of the tree, it's a mid-level node in the hierarchy. Here I can see that actually I regard it as a core customer, and I've got separate teams working with it. In other words, multiple hierarchies are possible in Reltio. Notice also when we track those relationships between customers, I'm not just now tracking with their contacts and with my account team that work with them, but even with their suppliers, in fact, even with their competitors, and all of that will be shown on that relationship graph. So it's a very, very powerful way to enable customers to work with their customers.
So obviously this is a finished product of the entire work that needs to be done, and this is basically how all the demos, right? So how quick can a customer come to this level when they can have like this 360 degrees view on a customer that you just showed us?
So this is another great advantage of being cloud native. It's very, very quick and easy for us to spin up an environment for a new customer. We have a program which is a 90 days to value program. So that's from a standing start to get initial data in, get a new environment up and running for a customer, and for them to start to find value in working with their customers. So there's many advantages of being cloud native, not just the fact that we take care of all the administration and running the system for you, but also the fact we make it very quick and easy to spin up new environments. So 90 days is not atypical for our customers.
So looking at the one of the challenges in this area, especially on data management and master data management, it's always that you have in larger enterprises, telecoms or manufacturing, doesn't matter. They live in this multi-complex technological environment where you have hundreds of systems not communicating with each other and etc. How difficult is this, and how basically this platform can be integrated in such a technological stack, let's say, or environment?
So this is a challenge that we help our customers with all the time. They've often grown through acquisition. They've got multiple siloed data sets. We make it very easy to connect Reltio to other data sources. We have a very open set of APIs. We use JSON. That means we've got a very open set of connector frameworks. In fact, everything that I've just shown you inside the web browser makes API calls. So everything I've just shown you visually can be automated. Once we do that, as I say, we are a cloud native solution. So we take advantage of a lot of the underlying platform capabilities. That doesn't just enable us to make it easy to connect, but it makes us easy to perform. So we can start to work with your data in real time. And at the same time, we address a lot of the security and privacy concerns. So two large markets for us are healthcare and financial services. They're two highly regulated industries. We have HIPAA approved environments. So that again gives our customers and prospects the reassurance that their customer data will be secure and will be made available for them to start to get value from very quickly.
You also show that it's both compatible to B2C and B2B companies, right? And in a B2C environment, and you had like a mixture between internal and external data sets. So we have everything from Pinterest to LinkedIn to internal ERP information and data. So, I mean, for a B2C company, and nevertheless for B2B, this can be a huge amount of data. So how can the platform like this basically handle such quantity of data?
So again, part of that is our cloud native infrastructure. So that enables us to scale very to huge volumes. We mentioned earlier Hewlett Packard. That's got 1.5 billion consolidated profiles. In fact, in HP's evaluations, we were the only vendor able to support such volumes. Another example of a customer doing great work is Subway. So globally, they are the world's largest single brand restaurant chain, the largest restaurant operator. They run their entire loyalty program through Reltio. So just two examples of customers running huge volumes through. Behind that, it's not just about the volumes, it's also about the performance. So our design philosophy was to, the traditional relational data model simply doesn't work. So for us, we've embraced a NoSQL data model. We combine that with our Reltio graph, which is updated automatically. We combine that with using Elasticsearch to make data very easy to find. And the final thing to talk about performance is not just performing the calculations very quickly, but enabling our customers to work with their customer data very quickly. So for example, they need to track some new metrics about their customers. In the old world, master data management world, that would involve adding new columns to a data table, dropping and rebuilding the schema, for example, recreating views. Our data model makes that very quick and easy. I wouldn't be exaggerating if I said that's the work of a few seconds or minutes. Why is that important? Because as the business world changes, the pieces of data you need to track, to work with your customers better, will continue to grow. As you move into the world of using AI and machine learning, these technologies devour data. They really like wide data sets. Again, Reltio's got an unlimited width of data. So all of these design philosophies come together. And again, that's why Forrester recognizes us as leading the charge into the third generation of master data management.
So scaling up to size of bigger sizes of volume of data is not a challenge though. Good. So lastly, how are you represented in Europe? Where can organization reach you at? Are you represented in the Nordics?
Absolutely. So we got a European office. We've got existing customers in the Nordics already. So our website obviously is www.reltio.com. We would have loved to come to Stockholm to meet people in person. We got a not just a sales presence, but also a customer success and a technical account presence in Europe. So the team here are ready and very keen to speak with prospects, not just to explain what we've done for other customers, but to understand your requirements and think about how we can take customer experience into new directions. This is a huge challenge, not just in the current coronavirus impacted world, but the organizations typically fall into one of two camps. They're either leading the charge with embracing customer experience, or unfortunately they're lagging behind and needing to catch up. So our goal is to enable all organizations to deliver an awesome customer experience to their customers.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for everything. And yes, let's continue. Thank you.
Wonderful. Great to be here.
Thank you. Bye-bye.